for how we'd like to play. The first half, we just sort of put ourselves behind the curve, played a little bit too much one-on-one. Our decisions to pass were usually about a dribble and a half late. And so we weren't able to capitalize on some advantages that we gained. But I think the second half was a much better picture of how we'd like to play offensively. Deep. A little bit worried about some of their three-point shooters. And, you know, Morant in particular was able to get in the paint a lot more in the second half than he did in the first half. And they hurt us on the glass, 13 offensive rebounds. I think, you know, we did the same thing to them on the other end, but I thought we had some good moments in the first half, physically rebounding. And in the second half, we didn't do quite as good of a job. But, you know, it's funny, you lose by 2 and it doesn't feel good, but I truly did feel like there was more good than bad in that game. I think there's a lot of bright spots. I think a bunch of our young players played well. Obviously, Walker had a great game. I thought Taylor was great. Lowry was a beast tonight. And I thought we got some good play from a lot of guys. And, you know, the margins are thin in the NBA between winning and losing. And, you know, we'll get back to the gym tomorrow, watch some film, and off we go.
What did you like about, you know, Taylor in the second half, especially defensively?
Yeah, I think he adjusted a little bit to how we wanted to guard Morant, but I also think that his physicality and length just shows up on both sides of the ball. You know, I think for him to, the way he was going after rebounds, even once he didn't get, keeping the ball alive, obviously he was able to find some catch and shoots, which was a product of his. And tonight, obviously, was a good example of that. And now it's about, can we consistently play with that type of force?
Veterans? Okay. Thought we talked veterans.
Yeah, I'll get Bowler to the veterans.
JC.
Yeah, I mean, I think the things that you pointed out
JC, and
are really who we want Walker
Sexton
to be. Like, the work that he did this summer is not fun. All the young players working on their body, like, that's not fun. And it takes a lot of dedication and effort and sacrifice, and Walker did those things. And it's great for him to have this game on opening night because it shows him that the work is paying off. Now the work has to continue. But he's found or refound some of that, you know, childish joy that we saw from Walker very early in his time here. He's a great person, and he has a great personality, but we want him to use that personality as a strength, in terms of, can you give yourself the freedom to kind of let it rip a little bit and not be quite so careful. And I thought that tonight he did that, and then while he's throwing himself around, he has a bigger, stronger body that he is throwing around. And so it was kind of a coupling of those two things tonight.
What wasn't working for Keontae tonight that was in the preseason?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think overall, you know, they had good ball pressure tonight. I think in the first half he passed up some opportunities to shoot the ball off the dribble. And in the second half, I just think that he became a little bit too fixated on trying to draw a foul. Those plays, the path play going to the basket is an emphasis in the league this year. It's a really hard play to officiate. All of them sort of look like a foul, but maybe not a foul. It just depends on which team you're coaching. And a couple 50-50 ones didn't go his way. And they look bad because when you don't get the whistle in that moment, it makes it look worse. But I do think that Keontae's understanding of how we want to play that showed for me. Like, his execution, his organization of the team was there. His physical shooting wasn't going tonight. But I think overall, to turn in a game where he has 1 turnover, he had 7 assists, I think he made some good choices. I just think there were some kind of loud-looking plays that didn't go his way. Obviously missed a few free throws that, he wants to make, and Keontae's a very good free throw shooter, so that's not a concern for me at all. But I think early in the first half, he probably passed up a few that he could have shot off the bounce that may have gotten him in a rhythm.
You may have touched on this already a little bit, but what was different offensively for Taylor in the second half versus the first half, all of his points in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately Taylor benefited from a shift in the mindset of the whole team. Taylor's been pretty consistent with his execution offensively. We don't run a ton of plays for Taylor, so he is relying on the team. And there's plays that Taylor makes that are purely because of his effort to sprint the floor or to crash the glass. And then there are some plays that are he's spaced properly, and it's up to the person with the ball to make a good decision. And I think that he benefited from some good decisions in the second half, and the work that he's been doing on his shooting paid off today.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.